because people don't even realize that that's really what women stay with you for. A woman stays if sometimes a woman stays with you not on because of the family that you put around her. That's one, right? Because if my wife divorced me, she don't just lose me. You lose all these Nigerian outfits getting made for you, and you lose all that shit. Like, she's never seen anything like my family, like when we get together at the parties, and she's like, God damn, they just all in your face trying to feed you, trying to help you, trying to watch your kids, trying to tie your hair, and she lose all of that. So it's not just me she's losing that. But then I love women that are tied to an ideal, tied to a value system. That's why we gotta either put religion or at least a deep culture back into it, to where she knows, like, damn, I'm not going to be accepted into the society the same way if I leave this man. So, it's multiple access points or binding points holding her to the marriage. And that's what we need. Because if it's just you, you're going to make mistakes. You might lose your job for a few months. So, she has to be interested in more than just you to want to stay in the marriage.
It's
Okay,
bigger
just
than just
before.
your relationship. Go ahead,
Yep.
AP. And then I want to go
But
after you.
okay, just real quick. There's a comment in the comments where he says too many outside forces are impacting men. By the time they get home, they're too tired. I've got to say one thing to that. Quit making excuses as a man. That's part of the job. There's nothing that happens outside that makes you too tired to deal with what the hell is going on inside your home. Quit making excuses and do what you're supposed to do as a man. And I just wanted to go ahead and touch on that comment because it kind of struck me some kind of way like, nah, bruh, I don't want to hear that shit. Quit making excuses. Be a man and own up to what you got to do and your responsibilities. Go ahead, Coach
Um,
K.
okay, no, that was good. I wanted to go back just a little bit to when we were talking about just what girls are wearing and what just people in general and how they're presenting themselves. And I think what's interesting is that although the girls are dressing like they're more mature, like they're wearing makeup earlier, they're dressing more provocative earlier. But at the same time, if we look at statistics, kids are developmentally, from mentally, they're I lost my stat. Um, they're delayed. So even though they present themselves as more mature, 18-year-olds are now acting like 15-year-olds. 13-year-olds are acting like 10-year-olds. So teens are physically safer than ever, but they're mentally vulnerable. And I
Mm.
think that's interesting. So on the outside, more they look, which I don't think any of us would agree that that's a good thing. Wearing makeup really young. I mean, even my niece, it's like, gosh, why are we pushing make? Let her be a kid. I mean, none of us in my family, but on the inside and how they're growing up, they can't handle things as much, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that
I
So
got
has a lot to do with social integration. So a lot of their
mm-hmm.
interaction is through social media. They're not really given a lot of responsibility, which helps mature you. Like I think about how we grew up. We were doing laundry for the family, cooking for the family, at a young age. So I think the developmentally, the physical developmental part is going to occur, especially now with the hormones and stuff that they have in the food. So physically, they're developing a lot earlier as well. But like you said, mentally wise, they are not, because they're not put in positions to give experience to develop the way that they should with critical thinking skills, things like that. Even playing in a park, I remember watching a study that was saying like things like different things that kids played in the park is no longer there because of safety issues. But they were
Right,
saying how back in the day that taught them, critical thinking skills, things like that, which we've
right,
removed all of those things and we're trying to protect them so they're not developmentally, growing. And so that sexuality is what they're seeing, what they're, um, trying to emulate, especially like not just in high school, but I've seen it in middle school as well. and the parents are okaying this. And I think that's the part that I'm concerned with, is that kids are going to be kids. They're going to try to cross the line to see how far they can get. But if you as the parent don't have a line, then it's difficult for them to, navigate.
And to piggyback off what Mistaken is saying, even at school, like the dress code, I don't know where it is, how it is in any other, county, but the dress code, even at school, has just been, it just disappeared. It used to be so strict. When you go to church, like somebody was saying, church, when you go to church, you had a strict dress code. You had to dress a certain type of way. At school, you would think that, you send your kids to school and they have to dress a certain kind of way. But even we're seeing now that, it's like Freaknik in these hallways. I see it. Listen, if I see your skin, your complexion changing, going up your pants, like you start to see where it turns dark. Right. The shorts are too short, but yet they're allowed to walk around with half shirts on, the short. That's just the way it is now. So there's no consequence on any level, even in a professional. Because I consider that a professional.
Let me tell you something. When I had my wife said,
after you can go after.
I realized that too, where I said, well, let's move into a school district with very high GPA, because that's all Nigerians care about, right? Then I said, oh, snap. Just because kids make good grades doesn't mean they always have good character or they're displaying things, right? And then I actually did that. I said, well, let's go check out what's going on. Let's go to a game or something and see what these parents are letting their kids wear. Exactly what you said. Like, why the hell are these girls out in coochie cutters? This is in high school, and their parents right next to them.
Sometimes it's in the winter time. I'm like, girl, it's cold outside. You don't feel that?
Yeah. So I had a rule. I said, my wife said, are we going to do private school? I was like, first, let's try charter school because that shit's expensive. All right. So we applied for basically a charter school that's better than the damn private school, outcomes wise, right? And the first thing I asked the lady, the principal lady, what is your dress code and your mode of enforcement for such things? This lady talked for 20 minutes straight. Not only do they wear uniforms, they can't wear anything without the name, the emblem embroidered into it. So they can't even sneak this type of stuff. Their hair can only be done a certain type of way. And she said, not only have we been doing this since the inaugural year of the school, this actually helps with outcome. When kids don't focus on beauty, when they don't focus on putting on their makeup, their educational experience is better. Their grades are better. Nobody's picking, like, it's not one girl who's glammed out and now everybody wants to be like her. Everybody's on an even playing field.
Don't learn fashion. I don't know fashion because of those schools. Like, I used to wear a uniform. Sorry, go ahead.
I love it. And she's gonna be there from kindergarten this year till 12th grade. All grades, so I'm happy.
And there's length of skirt, and you had, like, I remember when you weren't, it wasn't good to wear leggings without something covering your butt. But now, I mean, even I'm guilty of that, of course, like, wearing like workout clothes or whatever. But I remember that, like, you couldn't do that.
You had to wear a long shirt. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yo, I twitching like that, Trigger Mike.
Huh? Oh,
yo, I was twitching when she was talking about the leggings. She was like,
I was looking through a scope or the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just to see if it was clear. I had to wipe it off with my shirt.